Two teachers arrested for alleged child abuse at two separate Kinderland preschool branches. Now, these images have gone viral, shocking the community, especially parents of young kids. And this leads us to a question. How can we equip parents to recognize signs of abuse in their children? So let's get to the point with Kelly Tay, a parent coach and founder of Juicy Parenting. Kelly, beyond physical injuries, what are the red flags that kids are being abused or bullied in school?
Hey, Olivia, thanks for having me on. So, I think that in order to answer this question properly, we have to first debunk this really common misconception that parents have that just because a kid is pre-verbal and can't yet talk, that means that they can't communicate. Because in reality, there's a lot of behavior that can change that is still communication. So, in terms of red flags, even a kid who cannot yet speak, they may start exhibiting behaviors like crying at drop off when maybe previously they weren't crying, or maybe they see a teacher, a particular teacher at the door, and they get really, really panicked and they suddenly don't want to go in. These are changes in behavior that parents can see as red flags, even if a kid can't yet speak. And also, I think it's important to remember that even if your kid can speak, if your kid is older and is talking, they may not necessarily come to you and say things like, Mommy or Daddy, I don't want to go to school because my teacher's abusing me. They may not say things like that. They may exhibit other changes in behavior. For example, when they're playing, they may start to role play a little bit differently. Things may get a little bit violent. It may take on a more sinister tone than the usual kind of play with their toys that you would normally see. The only way we will observe these changes is if we are very sensitively attuned to our kids, what's their normal behavior and what is not so normal. And that's when we'll see the red flags happen.
In relation to communication, whether it's verbal or non-verbal, how should we parents communicate to our children so that they feel comfortable to open up to us about all the things that's going on in school?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for parents to remember is that in order for a child to want to communicate something with you, they first have to feel safe, particularly when it comes to bad news, right? In order for a child to want to even open up, they have to feel like you're not going to freak out, that you're not going to doubt them, or shame or blame them for what they're coming to you with. So I think concretely, there are two things that parents can do. The first thing is to really make sure that when they talk to you, when they tell you something, just believe them. And I'm not saying that kids won't embellish stories, they won't fabricate, they will. That's what kids do. However, it is then our job as the parent to figure out what is actually the truth and what is not. And then the second thing is to make sure that how we react to the small things now set the stage for how we later react to the big things. What I mean by this is, for example, a young kid drinks a glass of water and then they spill it all over or the glass breaks. How we react to these kinds of bad news sets the stage for how they feel they can trust us or not trust us with bigger bad news in the future.
And Kelly, a final question. Is there anything else that you think parents can learn from the recently reported alleged cases of abuse and ill treatment?
Yeah, I think, I was reflecting on this because I'm a parent of two. And I think what's important to realize is that this could have happened to anyone. I think that is why it's so scary, simply because we just cannot control how other people treat our kids when we are not around, especially when we're not there to witness it, right? We have no control over that. And I think as scary a realization as that is, it's also important because it helps us clarify what we should focus on. If we can't control what other people do, the only thing we can control is ourselves, right? And so what we can do is focus on building a really trusting, respectful relationship with our kids, where communication is a two-way street, where we do not doubt our kids or belittle or shame them for what they come to us with. Because I really believe that what we do now sets the stage for what we do later, right? A lot of the times, like parenting little ones, feel so in the moment. We're so like, okay, what do we do right now when they're in preschool? That we forget actually this is a long, long road. And what's a challenge now is going to evolve into bigger, more severe challenges later when our kids are teenagers. So, for example, when our kids are teens, when someone is peer pressuring them to do something against the law, or maybe they've fallen victim to an online scam, right? When these kinds of things happen, we want them to be able to come to us and to trust that we will help them, that we are not going to explode, that we're going to remain calm, have a level head, and support them through it. And that's not to say there are no consequences. We definitely still want to be an authoritative parent. We still want to set firm boundaries. However, at the same time, we can be firm and still be really kind and be really supportive. And I think that's what I want parents to take away from this whole episode, that even though, yes, it's very scary, let's not panic, let's not freeze. Let's focus on the things we can control because what we do now is so important for what is going to happen later when our kids are older.